Hi, and welcome to my presentation, The Right to the City and Black Agrarianism in Toledo. My name is Brittany Jones, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Department of Geography and Planning at the University of Toledo. Before getting into the presentation, I would like to review some key words that I will be using to describe some concepts. The first is Black agrarianism, or the political and social philosophy tied to the practice of agriculture. It is to ensure the well-being and economic power of said community, in this case, the Black community. Food sovereignty, or the reclamation of power in the food system through the strengthened relationship between people and the land. This is often in form of land ownership, and it also talks about the relationship between producers and consumers. Food apartheid, an all-encompassing word that looks at the intersection of food system and social injustices. This word was coined by Karen Washington, a black urban farmer in New York. Community food security, a state in which all community residents have access to sustainable, culturally acceptable, healthy diets, and requires the cooperation of municipal resources and collaboration. And finally, melanated communities, or communities of color, specifically black in this case. It is a term that will be used in lieu of minority. In his famous work, The Production of Space, published in 1991, Henri Lefebvre advocates for the power of the proletariat, or a society where people are in control of the land and the activities that take place upon it. However, for melanated communities, most of this land is owned by government entities or private businesses, thus offering little to no option of ownership. The impact of redlining, gentrification, disinvestment, among other occurrences, has stifled the progress of concentrated resident-led landkeeping and ownership. In these cases, another form of self-governance, coined collective agency and community resilience, or CACR, is necessary in order to reach a point of sovereignty and autogestion, as Lefebvre claims. CACR, originated by Dr. Monica White in her 2018 book Freedom Farmers, embodies three principles: commons as practice, or shared ideology; prefigurative politics, or agreed upon governance; and economic autonomy, or self-sustaining economic systems. In order to understand the concepts explained, in addition to its applicability to the local level, it is fitting to understand Toledo's history with food insecurity. In the 2016 FRAC Food Hardship Report, Toledo ranked number 36 out of 100 MSAs that have experienced higher food insecurity rates. In 2018, that decreased to number 53. As a comparison, Dayton was number 11 in that same 2016 report, whereas Youngstown, Warren, Boardman in Ohio and Pennsylvania was number 2 in the 2018 report. At the state scale, Ohio in the 2018 report ranked number 18 with a 16.2% food hardship rate. The USDA ERS 2019 report showed Ohio with a 12.6% low or very low food security prevalence and a 5.4% very low rate of that same prevalence. This is concerning and may increase as a result of COVID, which has affected some food industries and may lead to food shortages. In Black communities, this raises even more concern about how to access fresh and healthy foods, as well as its affordability and quality. Residents are compelled to grow their own, giving rise to an interest in growth of urban agriculture in the city. Keeping this in mind, this presentation seeks to answer how is Henri Lefebvre's theory of the right to the city performed through urban agriculture in Black communities. The data used in this analysis came from the 2008 and 2018 Aries Land Database, which is originated in Lucas County. Also, the 2008 and 2018 5-year ACS for socioeconomic factors were also used. The data was analyzed and visualized in ArcPro. Since this topic requires a mixed method approach, pictures of key Black-led urban agriculture areas were obtained from organizations' publicly accessible Facebook pages. First, it is necessary to note the difference in the quantity of parcels between both years. Before the establishment of the Lucas County Land Bank in 2010, the City of Toledo had its own land bank. Due to the heightened cost of property maintenance, most parcels were transferred to the Land Bank, a nonprofit organization. What stood out when filtering the properties by owners was that the two entities had several properties under multiple variations of their names. It was at least 7. The City of Toledo had over 2,000 parcels, while the Land Bank owned 1,760. A Moran's eye analysis showed that there was statistically significant clustering of land bank owned properties. The resulting percentages and amounts of the socio-economic variables were somewhat similar in both years. With that being said, these municipal owned properties were found in communities of at least 50% or more Black. The population was 33% below poverty, less than 34% vacant housing, and 66% owner-occupied housing existed. Household income remained steady between 2008 and 2018, with $30,250 and $30,556 respectively. The median age increased, thus showing the vulnerability of communities while the population ages. So what does the right to the city look like in action, and why does this matter? Municipal-owned properties are usually behind in taxes, dilapidated, or vacant. These properties are often torn down, cleared out, and left vacant until a suitable redevelopment proposal is approved, resulting in a sale to an outside entity or addition to a neighbor's property. Oftentimes, this is not a negative occurrence because some owners may practice urban agriculture. Unfortunately, this is not always the case, and the property is left vacant for a significant amount of time. Here are two examples reflective of both CACR and the right to the city. Mighty Organics began 3 years ago with 1 bed. Over time, it grew to 9 beds, 4 currently in operation. These beds has produced tens of thousands of pounds each year. Last year, these beds produced over 30,000 pounds of organic fruits and vegetables. Although these beds are owned by the entity, the rest are leased through the land bank or privately owned. Tatum Park, a once vacant lot, has also been repurposed through urban ag and a natural desire to be the local source of fresher food options. This site was established about a year ago and has fostered much community active participation and government partnership. Aside from these two areas, there are other sites in these communities that exhibit using the land as a strategy to move towards freedom. Although most of the land is not under complete ownership of said organizations, these individuals are taking control of the land and, in a way, the community's relation to agriculture, despite resistance to the implications of the past. Through these two cases, all three CACR principles are reflected, and although both in their infancy, they show great promise in reaching a point of self sufficiency and self reliance. Of course, this would take multi organizational collaboration, resource sharing, data generation and management, and progressive community land ownership options or zoning, such as land trust or urban agricultural overlays, in order to expand these efforts. The reality of an equitable, ecologically sustainable food system is possible, and through embracing urban agriculture as a mechanism of empowerment, these communities possess the power to advance their space and presence as the city changes. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And if you would like to reach me with any questions or comments, please email me at brittany.jones4@rockets.utoledo.edu.